Hello, hello, good subs and good madams. Tis your boy Dreaded Don here, back once again. I'm just bringing you guys my most anticipated titles for the month of September. We got a lot of good games on this list this month, man. A lot of good titles, a lot of good lore titles, a lot of good gameplay titles. Got a lot of titles that look like it'd be fun to just dip your toes into. So let's go and dip our toes into my list and see what we got up first. Starting off the list, man, we got Space Marine 2. Off the top, I'm just excited for this. It's a new 40K title. I'm a 40K fan. I rock salamanders. If you're wondering, my chapter is salamanders. Yes, sir. I'm a fan of Vulcan. Anyways, point being is just the thought of being able to jump into power armor, man. That that's just one of the best power fantasies you can really get in the 40K universe, man. And it's an entire Tyranid invasion that you're stopping. If you know about the lore, it's one of the best things we can get ourselves into, man. Now, with Space Marine 2 really looking to embody the grim dark of the 40K universe, I may be a little far fetched saying that's one of the best things we get ourselves into. There's nothing really good about the 40K universe that you can really get yourself into. But if you're a Space Marine, that action, that action got to get your second heart going. It got to. Anyways, essentially, Space Marine 2 is putting you right in the heart of that universe, right? So it's pitting you against this a giant, terrifying, massive Tyranid swarm. It's like imagine if you just had 1,000 cicadas and goddamn mosquitoes and goddamn prime mantis amped up to the thousand. They're horrible. They're horrible. They're worse than the biggest bug. They're oh man, well, we're not gonna get into how bad Tyranids are. Essentially, they're putting you right in the full scale Tyranid invasion. They're gonna be doing this by utilizing what they call swarm tech. Swarm tech. For bugs. For okay, Tyranids are bugs, but swarm tech, bro, that's gonna give you hundreds. Like they're talking war. You've seen some of the gameplay that's already out. The game comes out today. People have already been playing it. The swarms look crazy, man. Now, the game's gonna focus on primarily three modes, right? So they're gonna have the campaign, the co-op, PvP. In my opinion, the campaign just seems to look like it's gonna be a really good story. Seems like it's gonna be quick, fast paced to get you a hands-on tutorial where you take on the role of Captain Titus from the first game, and it's gonna be, it looks like, maybe 6 to 10 hours of gameplay. Most people have said they've already gotten around 4 to 6 hours of gameplay, so the game is going to be on the relatively short end. I'm not too mad at that. I'm looking more focused to play the co-ops and the PvP modes, but essentially that's what they're going to be focused on. Mainly due to the fact that if you go to the season roadmaps on the studio's websites, yeah, they're saying they're going to be supporting co-op and PvP with new accessories, new maps, new guns, new chapters. That sounded good to me, and they're saying that for the first, I believe it was 3 to 4 seasons, if I'm right, somewhere around there. But look, they're planning to support the game with a lot of content. That encourages me. Now, if we're kind of getting into it, campaign's kind of easy. Like I said, you'll be playing Captain Titus, kind of be a more tutorial based, where it's just 6 to 10 hours of gameplay. Getting into what co-op entails now, it's going to be on the lines of Warhammer Dark Tides. If you've played Warhammer Dark Tides, you play as one of the lower militia, not a Space Marine, and you go through the level doing different types of objective. At the end of the objective, you usually have a boss, and you're going to get rewards at the end of that, and you're going to be able to put those rewards back at your hub and spend them towards, different types of customizations for your weapons, abilities, stuff like that, right? Now, the co-op is going to work very similar to that in Space Marine, where you're going to have that exact same setup where you'll be working through the level, completing different types of objectives and wave clearing, and then you're going to go all the way back to the barge where you can upgrade your Marine, gathering new cosmetics as well as new weapons and armor. PvP, on the other hand, is going to allow you to challenge 6 other Space Marines in team deathmatch, baby. Team deathmatch and domination, not just team deathmatch and domination on a single match, but team deathmatch and domination on several maps and more maps to come. And there's 6 different classes with their own customizable builds and items. Man, listen. I just see PvP being a pretty savvy thing to get into, because not just can you be able to create your own Marine, customize them the own way that you want with your own class, but you'll also be able to do the same thing with a Chaos Marine if you're into that. If you're on the Chaos, if you're part of Chaos faction, you heretic. Now, one of the cool things that I always love to see studios doing nowadays, especially with how big microtransactions are, is just primarily letting them be for cosmetics, man. You know, from new armor colors to new custom helmets to adornments, you know, and all coming from like iconic chapters like the Dark Angels, the Blood Angels, Iron Hands, the Imperial Fist, you know, just the White Scar, like just allowing the customization and allowing us to have the will to be able to only use that microtransaction only for that. I don't mind that at all. Just give me my salamanders first of all. But if you start doing pay to win in games, that's when you really start to kill the fun. And man, why do pay to win in a game like this when we're all about the grim dark, right? And with how much the studio is really planning to flesh out with these next few seasons, 1, 2, 3, like I said, new maps for co-op and PvP, new armor sets, new chapters that they're releasing for their microtransactions. It's like, why would you go out of your way to ruin a great game and a great setup for yourself by adding pay to progress? I don't know. Plenty of games do it, but we'll see. Space Marine 2 is set to release on September 9th, today. And I'm definitely going to be picking this one up. Now, number 2, back like it never left, Enotria. I spoke very, very highly of this game last month. And I'm going to continue to do so, just because it looks amazing. It's beautiful. You know, I love beautiful games that look like they're going to play well. I didn't get my chance to put my hands on it, but it looked great. Anyways, Enotria is like it said before. It's looking to take you to a setting of Summer Souls. It's gonna be trying to twist up the genre by taking you to this Italian setting that's more sunlit, where you're more in vineyards and open areas, and you see your enemies kind of dancing and having more of a joyful, a depressing joyful time, but joyful time it looks like nonetheless. Essentially, the game is going to focus on you being this maskless one in a world full of people who wear masks, where you're set out to change the world around you by gathering those said masks and then embodying the role of anybody that mask you put on. So you put on a lumberjack, you become a lumberjack. You put on the jester, you become the jester. You put on the bard, you become the bard. I'm just messing, but essentially, yeah. Like these different types of masks are gonna allow you to diversify your build and your loadout if you gather them from different bosses, and they're gonna be able to be swapped quickly and easily on the fly during combat. With that being said, all in all, Enotria, from what I've seen, really just looks like it's gonna be adding a whole completely new view on the genre by just trying to add a little bit of flair, a little bit of style, a little bit of grace. I would say, you know, maybe to the Dark Souls. I would say Sekiro did that already, but you know, it's essentially just trying to spice up the genre a little bit, and it's going to be releasing this month on the 19th. If you want more details, I also went in greater detail in my video last month on August as well. Now, next up, we have Greedfall 2. Man, I did actually I had a chance to play the first one, and I'm gonna be honest, I wasn't as impressed, but I feel like I didn't really give it its fair shake, and I didn't give a chance to go in depth like I should have. But with everything that I have seen that the second one's gonna be adding to it, Yeah, it's piqued my interest once again. The story and the setting around Greedfall really has always had me interested. So I'm just looking forward to kind of just jumping back into Greedfall. I've always wanted a reason to go back and play it. Didn't have a reason to go back and play the first one. Now I kind of got one. The Greedfall 2, it starts off with it being a prequel actually to the first one. It's taking place 3 years prior to the first game, which is really interesting, really cool. Instead of you being a native to the main continent, you're actually a native to the island continent this time. And instead, you've been taken from the island continent. These goddamn colonists taking you from the island. I'm so, sorry. Anyway, they took you from the island, and they take you to the main continent. And so essentially, you're in that main continent, and you have to learn how to make your way back home. I think that's a really cool concept, right? The studio's approach to the companion seems completely different this time around, right? They are going to have them reenact their own opinions. They're going to have their own actions. They're going to actually have their own feelings to the way that you play out your actions inside of the world, instead of just being like, oh, this is how I feel. And oh, I can't believe you did that, Captain. No, they're going to have actual actions and motivations and opinions that they're going to go out and maybe object to you on. I mean, and I'm not saying it's gonna be something crazy. If you played any RPG, then you probably have an idea for it. It's not gonna be something that you're not familiar with. Just like any other RPG, you're gonna have your companion, and he's gonna have those opinions, but they're gonna be a little bit more fleshed out. They also said they plan on redoing the entire combat system. They're gonna have it be a little bit more tactical, more on the strategic end, with the tactical pause, giving you availability to really choose your encounters, man, and kind of set up the best opportunity for you and your squad. Like, you don't get any better than that when you have a tactical game. You get that tactical pause, real time combat, and you can do it for not just yourself, but all your companions. So I mean, it really gives you a chance to flesh out your squad. It kind of gives me Dragon Age Inquisition vibes, essentially, where you're positioning each one of your squad mates, making sure they're in the correct position, correct abilities, ready to go, pre-casting on enemies who have specific weaknesses, and allow you to really utilize your group and that opportunity to get the best advantage, man. That's what you're looking for. And I like that. To me, it kind of gives Greedfall a chance to really put its combat on edge. When I played it before, it felt a little lackluster. I felt like I was stuck using 2 or 3 moves, heavy attacking into a spell combo, maybe into my gun. And now it looks like they're going to actually have a little something to work with, man. A little something to work with. All in all, I'm just excited with everything that they're getting ready to add into it, man. Like, I've been wanting Greedfall to kind of step it up and give me a little bit more. And now better companions, better customization, different story, a little bit more in depth. There's no reason I'm not about to dip my toes in this mud. Greedfall is set to release this month on the 24th, as a matter of fact. So if you get your hands on it, let me know what you think. Whew, now this title, man, this zombie slaying interviewing ass title. If you don't know, this nostalgic one, Dead Rising Remaster. Actually, let me correct myself. Dead Rising, the Deluxe Remaster is what this is. Man, talk about rising from the grave with this one, bro. This one really, like, it was banging the back of my cranium with the nostalgia, man. I remember playing this back in early junior high days and just going crazy in a mall, just running around killing stuff, shopping carting people, using a golf club. You had I think it was like the shopping cart with the spikes on and the fireworks, if I'm right. Dude, you could do so much wild stuff in this damn game. And honestly, man, it's damn good. It's good. Essentially, man, where the game kind of starts out, if you haven't played it before, you play as Frank West. He's a reporter. In my opinion, I feel like he's getting ready to lose his job. He's one of those reporters right at the tail end, trying to get his last scoop, make sure he meets ends meet so he can pay that rent. And well, essentially what's going on is he jumps right into this zombie infested mall to see and get the scoop what's going on. And you got 72 hours. You have 72 hours to figure out what's going on inside this mall before your helicopter comes and got to get you out. And in my younger days, man, I didn't remember that 72 hour time limit. First time around, man, I feel like I just was playing the game. And now that I remember that it has a 72-hour time limit, that I feel like that puts the game on edge. You know what I mean? And if I do remember right, it had, at near the end of the game, I think you have a really hard helicopter level. Wait, I think I could be thinking of GTA. Anyways, but it's just a good game. That's just the setting. You know, play Frank West, trying to get the scoop, hop into this mall, 72 hours to complete different various missions, try to understand what's going on, and then just murder a bunch of zombies while you're at it. It's just all around good fun, man. Now, with this one, man, they're planning to just really remaster the game, all in all. Like, they're looking to improve the graphics, the fluidity of the game, just the pacing of the game, all of it, all of it. One of the things that developers said, which I thought was kind of funny, is that they added fluidity into the game. And the type of fluidity they added, they just gave Frank West the ability to move while he's aiming. Because it's such a modern thing to have in games now. And so, yeah, they really just updated, gave it kind of like a more modern overhaul. It looks beautiful. It looks great. I mean, I'm not saying it's Black Myth Wukong level, but it just looks better. It looks way better than what it was back in my younger days. And yeah, I'm just excited to get my hands back on playing DRDR. And it's set to release this month on the 18th, so I don't have any reason not to, you know? Alrighty, man. I don't know about you, but this next one really it touches that thing I've always wanted to do as far as, you know, a power fantasy. Not necessarily power fantasy, but just having a fantasy of what I could do in a world setting. And it's Harry Potter Champions, man. I always love world settings that allow you to do more than just solve the problem for the world and kind of like giving the character a problem to solve all the time. I like it when they actually open the world up and allow you to do different things in the game. And I'm not saying that's what Harry Potter Quidditch is doing, but Harry Potter Quidditch allows you to play Quidditch, man. Like that's a fantasy I've always had. So hearing that Harry Potter Champions was coming out, I was really skeptical, just wondering how they're going to be able to nail the Quidditch mechanics and how they're going to allow you to play different positions on the field. But honestly, man, for a free to play game just this month, it's amazing. It's way better than I thought. I got my chance to step my toes into it just a tad bit. The game has already been released. It released this month on if I'm correct, the 3rd. If I'm 100% sure, I could be wrong, but it did release this month already. So as you're checking out this vid, go cop the game. It is free from the 3rd, yeah, the 3rd to the 30th. So you can go and play that as long as you got PlayStation Plus. If you don't have PlayStation Plus, the game is, I think it's $30 if I'm correct, which isn't bad, which isn't terribly bad. The game has no microtransactions, none, zero, nada, good sir. You have no microtransactions to worry about. All of your cosmetics and progression is going to come directly from gameplay, which is actually really cool because they put you in kind of like a zero to hero tournament. The game has online and a champion mode. In the champion mode, you start off in the Weasley's field. You work your way up to the Hogwarts Cup. Go to the School Cup. So you get the chance to like really get a feel for the game before you start playing online and kind of doing more with your character. Now, honestly, all of that was really just enough to draw me in. I get to play Quidditch. I get to create my own character, customize my own character. On top of customizing your own character, the game allows you to play each of the, what is it, 5 positions, I believe? Beater, cheater. No, not beater, cheater. Beater, chaser, seeker, keeper. Yeah, I believe that there's 4. I think it's 4 or 5. I'm probably missing one, but either way, allows you to play all the positions. You get to learn each one of them. Customize your broom, your student, should I say? His appearance, their appearance, whoever they are, and on top of that, you get to play with your friends through all of this campaign, or even online. That's nice. That's cool, man. I get to play Quidditch with my friends, mainly my cousin, and customize it, and we get to just kind of ball out of some Slytherin. I've been playing beater, so I've been having fun with that. Anyways, that's just all I had to really say about Harry Potter Quidditch or Harry Potter Champions. If you've been seeing it, the game did, like I said, did release the 3rd. It is free from the 3rd to the 30th, and it will be costing $30 after this month. Now, next on the list, this game. Or better yet, Void Bastards. No, both of them look like they are quite the treat. Void Bastards was the treat, and this Wild Bastards looks like it is a new treat for us to enjoy. It's essentially going to be a follow up from the exact same creators that created Void Bastards, but instead, this of the on Void Bastards, where you're a prisoner, essentially trying to earn your freedom by gathering different parts and making your way through the solar system. On this one, you play as a gang of 13 members who have already been killed by the main boss, the main big bad boss, and now essentially you have a sentient ship that's gone around and resurrected all of your party members and has set you guys on a mission to go kill the big bad boss again. And now he's on your tail, trying to re-kill you. So I just thought that was a little fun. On top of that, the game just has an amazing flair. So game that has flair for me, I'm automatically already there. Now with all the flair that Void Bastards has and that Wild Bastards gonna be having, it's it's easy to understand how it's going to be such an interesting FPS strategy roguelike title, man. And just like Void Bastards, you're going to essentially be planning out your route with each one of your 13 posse members, and you're trying to just end up making sure you don't get dead by the big bad's boss and his sons, or you're trying to take them out before they take you out by hitting specific encounters, getting specific power ups for each one of your party members, and making sure you have the best opportunity for yourself, right? You got to set yourself up. You and your posse. It's you and the gang. But hold on. Just because it's you and the gang doesn't mean the gang is going to be around to mess with you. Just like any other game, you're gonna have your mishaps between each member. Certain members are gonna like each other. Certain members are not gonna want to work together. And I feel like that's where it's really gonna add a little bit of dynamic into each one of your runs, since it is a roguelike. Some of your members not vibing with each other and really messing with each other while you're going through trying to handle different encounters with each party member. Because again, I didn't mention it, but when you go into these encounters, you're often able to choose 1 to 2 members to work with each other. So during specific member missions that require specific members to have their certain abilities, so you can actually get by, maybe sneak past an enemy with one member, maybe be able to burn certain enemies that are resistant to your damage type one enemy. Maybe you need explosive. So the fact that some of your gang is not going to want to work with each other all the time, I feel like it's going to add such a different level of challenge when it comes to how you approach each mission. Now, if you're ready for that showdown, the game comes out on the 12th. I'm ready for it, looking beyond forward to it. I'm just excited. I'm excited for this game all in all. Again, it releases on the 12th, and I'll definitely be covering that on the channel, so look forward to that. So, with this next title, it is already in early access as we speak. It is sitting in a very positive state on the reviews on Steam. It's Shadow of a Doubt, man. It's getting its full release to all platforms later this month, and I can just see it. I just from seeing the trailers and what I've viewed already, I just imagine this game just coming out and doing really well. Um, Shadow of a Doubt is essentially a crime scene investigator game where you play as a detective who needs to scour and really go through the details of each and every one of your crime scenes if you want to find who your criminal is. And that's where I'm about to tell you. You're not just scouring each and every crime scene. You are truly an investigator with this one, man. It's honestly the style of graphic is what really drew me in, but the game's attention to detail, man. Just the way that you can go through each of the crime scenes and maybe look through your victims their phone log, maybe go into their neighbor's house to see what they were doing the day before and see if they actually went out to lunch, to see if your victim's alibi actually matched, or if he was paired up near where the criminal was at, and just things like that. You could even go through the computer databases in depth to find out who the last person that your victim was talking to. Just, man, this game just looks like it's going to be a chef's kiss, and I understand why it's already sitting at mostly positive. Um, Again, on top of that, the game's graphics, it doesn't have realistic graphics, but I feel like that's what allows it to have such a good bit of immersion. Um, the graphics kind of a bit style with a shadow overcast, right? And all of that really kind of just draws you in, man. Like you start playing, or I haven't played it myself, but just from watching it, looks like just from playing it, you're already kind of stuck in that detective mindset and being very precise about all of the things that you find, right? Now, it's releasing out of its early access on September 29th. And yeah, yeah, I think I'm gonna put my hands on this one. Definitely get my hands on it and give it its fair shake. All right, so those are essentially going to be my primary titles that I'm really excited for the month of September. Top 5 of those are going to really be the cream of the crop for me. Now, if you're excited for any games releasing this month, go ahead and let me know down in the comments, because I'm always interested in your opinion, right? The next few titles that we're going to be getting into are more on my honorable mentions list, kind of just giving you guys my little feel on the smaller titles that I'm going to be releasing this month. Now, first of my honorable mentions, it's making the list just strictly due to my own personal nostalgia. And it's Sonny. The the amount of times and hours I spent playing this damn game on Armor Games and Congregate, yeah, it lives rent free in my dome for years, probably forever. Until the day I'm a child, it will live rent free in my dome. Sony it's a really straightforward turn-based strategy game. You play as a zombie who got resurrected, and you have a little bit more life. You're a little bit more interested in life than most zombies, you could say. And you're setting out to find out who revived you and why. Now, to say that you'll find that out, I don't remember because I was very young when I was playing it. But what I do remember is just being able to go through the skill tree and just have fun playing a simple turn-based game, trying to figure out who revived Sony. Now, while the graphics are going to be a little bit more updated because it is a flash game, in my opinion, it's still good. Still good. Just one of those games you can just throw on, waste some time, play for like a good hour, maybe 2 hours, maybe even 30, 45 minutes, and just play. Play before you go out to dinner with the fam, maybe before you go to work or something. Yeah, just an interesting game to hang out on. Sony does release this month on the 30th, so if you're interested in getting your hands on it, check it on out. Number 2, man. Boy, oh boy, this damn game threw me for a loop when I first played it. It's like an ARPG had a baby with Vampire Survivors. If you played either any of those titles, you kind of understand what I'm saying. ARPG for Diablo, Vampire Survivors being more of a bullet haven, enemy swarm type of game. You clash those two together, and you get Dwarven Realms. It has really interesting crafting aspects. If we're hopping right into it, it has really interesting crafting aspects and a massive skill tree that rivals that of PoE, in my opinion. But it just swarms you with waves upon waves of enemies, the way Vampire Survivor does. And honestly, I think all of those elements being clashed together makes a very good genre of a game, and I wish more games did it. Just because I feel like being able to get into a game where you just have an entire customization skill tree and crafting progression, as well as waves upon waves of enemies to test all of that out on, just makes for a fun time overall, right? It's always a good time where you get to really dive into that power fantasy of imagining a certain build. Maybe you're a wind caster, maybe you're a sand manipulator, maybe you're a fire wielder, and you would really just embody that entire power fantasy by just unleashing it upon hordes of enemies. And if you're looking upon doing that, I would say give Dwarven Realms a chance. It's in early access right now, but it does release on the 27th of this month. And last but not least, man, finishing us off early with another early access one. If you're looking to check it out, it's Hive Jump 2. Similar to the one we just mentioned, it is another Vampire Survivor clone, you could say. I always like to call him Bullet Swarm, Horde Survivor. Hive Jump essentially just looks to be a more interesting version of that. I say that because of its graphic style. Has a bit style graphic, very colorful, very flashy. Has an entire leveling progression system for you to go to, just like majority of these Vampire Survivor games. And it just looks like one of those titles where you can just spend mindless hours leveling up, mowing down hordes of alien bugs, and just having fun jamming out or, like binging one of your shows. just one of those games that you can enjoy while you're doing something else. And that's why I had to put it on this list. It is actually set to release on the 10th of this month. So if you're interested in just kind of spending a couple of hours nonchalantly jamming out and killing bugs, Hive Jump 2 might be it for you. Now, that's going to be all of my September games for this month, man. I'm excited for each and every one of these, especially, like I said, the top 5. Honorable mentions are also on there just because I'm excited for those titles as well. My nostalgia be kicking. Now, if you have any titles at all that you're really excited for yourself, I'm always interested in it. Leave a comment down in the section below, as well as leave a like for the video if you thought it was pretty savvy. And toss me subscribe if you're looking for more info, man. Other than that, I'll catch you guys on the horizon. Deuces!